Hey, I'm Matt.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Tony, and we are Motion City Soundtrack, and this is Rehearsal Space. And I just said the word "and" a lot.
What if it was you? You that I needed all along. I felt like a fool. Now that I'm sure that I was wrong, it had to be you. It had to be you. It had to be you. I knew it was you. She makes a lot of
We started the band, it was like 1997, but there wasn't really anywhere to play in Minneapolis. So we then realized that we just had to tour all the time. And that's where I met these guys.
Tony and I were in another band called Submerge from Virginia, and we were on our second tour. I believe
These guys were on their first tour.
we had a good time with them, and we just, stayed friends for a while and
Traded some shows,
traded some shows for a while. They ended up talking Tony into joining the band.
which took a lot of effort.
Took about a year for him to say yes, I think. Right?
Yes, I'm a very slow talker.
It was a really long phone call.
It came back around, and I was
kind of
like,
like joking online with you. We were eyeing
Yeah.
each other. Because actually there's like a lot of bad things going on with the band at the time. Like, where like members weren't working out at all, and our lead singer was really going through some hard times. Right at that moment, I was like telling Tony about it, just kind of like venting about all the stuff going on. And then I was like, "You want to join the band?" And he was like, "Kinda." And so then we're like, "All right." One thing that we realized worked really well for us is playing shows and touring, and I think that that was a huge thing that we did, and we were doing it successfully. And so we were like, well, this is what we're doing. We got to do this. We got to do a lot of it, because nothing's going to happen on its own. We got to kind of take it into our own hands.
The cool thing is when a bunch of young bands are coming up together, trading shows and whatnot, certain bands will get bigger. Somebody will break, and then hopefully you've made a relationship with them, and they're gonna reach back and call you up because you're their friend and they want to help you out.
And it really happened. Like, it was weird. Like, at one point, it was like realizing that some of the biggest bands in the country at that time were all friends of ours that we've been playing, basement shows with, but now they're enormous bands like Fall Out Boy and All American Rejects, and it's very weird. We did like 8 days of Warped Tour that summer, like really short amount of time, really at the end of the summer, and right then I think is when like the momentum started happening.
everything just falls apart. Will you take me?
I went to master the record. Like, I actually went into the studio, Mark Hoppus and me, and the rest of the band was on. We were all on tour, so I flew on a date to LA and then flew back with a copy of it in my hand. And it had to be like 24 hours later. I was talking to a kid in Minneapolis who's like an internet geek guy, and he was like, "I'm downloading your record right now online, like it's leaked." But it was like 3 days or 4 days before it was just like done. Everybody had it. We're playing shows, kids were singing along. It may have helped us, but in the long run, what it hurts is that first week's sales. And unfortunately, our business is based off of those numbers. But the thing that happened that people weren't expecting is that it stayed really solid. It kept selling a high number every week. It's like, it's a hard thing. Everybody's like, it's a big juggling issue. Everybody's like, well, then a lot of people heard your record and maybe bought it because of that, or maybe you got more people interested in you, but people aren't really looking at you as like that big success. We took a lot of precautions with this next record. We made them all come meet us in the Nike ID store and listen to the record there and do their reviews. Or the people that had to have a copy were given the record with kind of a threatening letter from us. It was like a letter saying like, this is really important to us. Like, this is me. This is our lives that you're dealing with. It's not just like the next thing that you can just do whatever you want with. The webisodes we did with the last record was kind of a weird thing, because I think it was a cool idea and we wanted to do it, and I think they turned out great. I think it adds such a different element. People can see the daily lives of making a record to going on tour, just seeing how it really is.
It's cool because they would get little snippets of, you know, a chorus from one song or whatever, and people would start to email us and say, I love whatever song that is in the webisode, and then, so it's, you know, we're kind of just building this hype, like, without having anything near being ready, but you're generating that excitement early.
One thing that was cool too is that the song "The Conversation" that's on the record, like in one of those webisodes, like is literally the exact moment like that song was kind of born, and just kind of that song happened really quick between Matt and Justin, and like that moment is actually on one of the webisodes, so it's kind of cool that that was captured.
Last three and hold the last. Pretending I was doom, like everybody would come in doom.
It's cool to see that. I think it brings your fans closer to you. And we've always kind of been that DIY kind of band, so like I think it's like, you know, did I do that wrong?
Yes, you did.
A DIY band, and done most of the stuff, you know, on whatever kind of whim we have, you know what I mean? Like, we're like, let's do these webisodes, and I was just like, I'm hiring my brother, we're gonna start shooting them right now, and you know, our manager's like, what? Okay, and then, you know, they get involved afterwards, and now everything's like, you know, everybody wants a piece of everything, and so, you know, we as bands have to scramble and find new ways to have revenue streams that are not being tapped in, that are our own, that we do have control over, that nobody's telling us what's cool and what's not cool, like, you know.
My first show, we were sitting there with the lawyer that we were about to hire. He was like, how do you guys, what kind of band do you want to be? Do you want to make a career of this? Or, you know, and that's what we said from the get-go. We were like, yes, we want to be a Sonic Youth.
Yeah, exactly. You know. That was his reference to, he's like, well, he's got bands like Sonic Youth who aren't millionaires, but they own nice houses and they have kids and they can live their lives and, you know, whatever. And like, well, this is our goal. This is what we want to do. Like, this is our, you know, this is all we have going for us. None of us are good at much else, so, you know, let's go with this. And I think a lot of bands don't go with that kind of headspace. They're like, they want to be huge, they want to sell tons of records, they want to be on MTV constantly, they want to do whatever. And, you know, we like those things, but we understand that they're hard to achieve, and we'll take the long road if we have to.